Good morning, everybody. Did you have a nice breakfast? Yeah? You have managed to get some rest? No pressure. Okay, so it's time to do some chanting, right? So I believe it is on page 8. Yoso bhagavarahang samma sambuddho swakato yena bhagavata dhammo supatipanno bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samayang Bhagavantang Sadhammam Sasangam Imehi Sakare Hiyatarahang Aropitehi Abhipujayama Sadhuno bhante bhagava suchira parinibhutopi pachima janatanukam pamanasam ime sakare dugata panyakara bhute patiganhatu amhakang digaratang hitaya sukaya arahang samma sambuddho bhagava buddhang bhagavantang abhivademi Swakato bhagavata dhammo dhammang namassami Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho sanghang namami Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manusana buddho bhagava tamahang bhagavantang abhipujayami tamahang bhagavantang Sirasa namami Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko Opanayiko pachattang veditabbo vinyuhi tamahang dhammang abhipujayami tamahang dhammang sirasa namami. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samici patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidam chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyaketam lokasa tamahang sanghang abhipujayami tamahang sanghang sirasa namami. And on page 14, we do the chant in English. Okay. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, not busy with the duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be happy. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be happy. Let none deceive another or despise any beings in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to false views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, I'm going to start by telling a story. So in case somebody is still a bit asleep, you can wake up. So this is a story from my own life when I went to New South Wales. So I used to be, I ordained and practiced for a long time at Dhammasara Nuns Monastery in Western Australia. But in 2021, when the last nuns who were at Santi Forest Monastery in New South Wales, they decided that they were not going to be able to run the place as a training monastery. They sort of handed over the management to the nuns community at Dhammasara. So then I volunteered to go over. Since then I have been there. And by the way, it's a very lovely monastery next to a beautiful national park called Morton National Park, a place with our meditation hall is an actual big cave. Last year, Ajahn Brahm came and we had a day retreat. We had 250 people inside our big cave. So it's really nice when you get a chance. It's a nice holiday and it's very, very quiet. It's called Santi for just not the name, it's actually peaceful. So you're all very welcome to come and stay and spend some time. It's a monastery full of waterfalls, caves, cliff tops, gullies, and real forest, like real wet, like rainforest. Yeah, so it's quite different to here, and it's a small community. We only have maybe 2 or 3 nuns at a time, but nevertheless, it's good for seclusion and practice. So anyway, when we first arrived there, so for us then, our senior monk, who we would look up to as our teacher, our guide is Bhante Sujato from our tradition, because he's connected to Ajahn Brahm. And so it is our tradition to go pay respects and say hello. So myself and the nun who was with me at the time, so we decided to go. And Santi Forest Monastery is in the southern highlands, so it's on the hills and the mountains, and it's about 2 hours drive to Sydney, where Bhante Sujato is. We have 2 vehicles but no driver, so very welcome. If anyone of you are good at driving, very welcome to come and spend some time with us and help out with driving. And anyway, so since we didn't have a driver, we had to catch the train. Luckily, the train is nearby. The village is called Bandanoon. It's a small, cute little village, and it's about 50 minutes walk to the train station, so it's doable. So we caught the early morning train because Bhante has invited us to go on Pindapata. So Bhante Sujato lives on Pindapata. He lives in a suburb called Harris Park, which is full of a lot of Asian community, so it's very easy for him to go on Pindapat, and he invited us to join. So of course we had to be there on time, so we caught a really early morning train, I think around 6 o'clock. So it was our first time to be going on this country train, and this is an incident that happened during our train journey. So at one of the stations, a couple with 2 bicycles got into the train. and the train has a place there's a bicycle bay. There was one bicycle already there, and these two who looked like tourists, they also wanted to put their 2 bicycles. So they asked whose bicycle it was that was already there. And a young boy who seemed like maybe 18 or 19 years of age said it was his bicycle. Then the couple asked, is it okay if they put their bicycles in front, and said, please let us know when you need to get off the train. We'll move our bicycles so you can pull yours aside. So he said yes, and then the train started to move, so we were all going. So it came to the place where the young boy needed to get off the train. So he sort of indicated that, and the couple tried to take their bicycles out, but of course the bicycles got entangled. So by the time they tried to disentangle, the train took off again. So the young boy didn't get off the train. Of course, everybody in the compartment looked up, what's going to happen next, right? It's in the morning, he's a teenager. He looked like he was on his way to work, not to school, because it said Highland window cleaning. So he's going to his work early morning, and he could not get off at the train station. What do you think would come out of his mouth? What would you say? You don't have to say, but we all know, right? At the very least, we'll go like that, right? If not, of course, much more than that. Hear a big mouthful of things of, how stupid you are and this and that. But it was completely the opposite. I still really remember this young boy's face. He was so calm. He was so chilled. That's the word. Not cool. Cool is like fashionable, right? But he was chilled. He said, oh, don't worry, no problem. The couple, of course, was profusely apologizing. Oh, we're so sorry, because they felt so bad. But the boy was truly calm, truly peaceful, honestly said, no problem, no worries. I can get off the next train and come back. And I thought, fair enough, all right, no problem. Little did I know, after that station, Mittagong, the next station was not for another 20 minutes, because this is a country line. It's not the city circle, which you have trains every 7 minutes, right? This is not the case. And in fact, there are no trains, not many trains coming back at this time. All the trains are going towards Sydney, not many coming back from Sydney. So he probably had to cycle back all that distance as well. But whatever it is, imagine if I knew that information, my goodness, it would have been even worse, to know. I mean, he knew that the next station is far away, but he was very chilled. Can we do that? I was asking myself the question. If I was him, could I be so calm and not say even a word except saying, no, that's fine, no problem, and trying to calm the 2 tourists who were feeling really bad and embarrassed and upset on his behalf? I don't know. I'm not sure even about myself. I think automatically I might react a little bit. I might even show a little bit of irritation and upset or something. And what might my boss say? I'm late for work, right? So it's really nice. But further to that, we took the last train back because we spent the whole day with Bante. He took us around Sydney and showed us around and had nice Dhamma discussion. So we were on the last train very late in the evening back home. And guess who was there in the train? This young boy. So he had to work overtime, I think, because usually if you start early, because he was in the train early morning, you usually finish, trades work usually by 3 o'clock or so they finish, they come home. They start early and finish. But this day, he had a long day. And I still looked, and he still looked happy and okay and peaceful. I really wanted to go and have a chat, but I didn't. I should have even gone and said that I'm really inspired with his behavior. So there are people like this, chilled, right? Isn't that nice to be able to be like that? What do you consider yourself as? Chilled or highly inflammable? You don't have to answer. But it is nice, isn't it? And this idea of being chilled is not that far from the idea of enlightenment. What is the Pali word Nibbana mean? Nibbana means switch off, extinguish. So at the time of the Buddha, there were no lights, right? So the light was actually fire torches. So they would say Nibbana, the fire torch. So extinguish the fire torch. So extinguish the fire is the idea of Nibbana. So what are we heading at? Toward extinguishment. Does that mean that we are a light? Are we like little or big fires? Are we burning? What do you think? How is the feeling when you have strong desire come up in your mind? Is it a feeling of burning? Let alone just big ones. Hunger. Burning, right? Feel a sensation of mind burning. How about when you have irritation and anger? That's very obvious. It feels like burning. Even agitated, irritated, anger. How about when your sense of self comes? Your professional area and somebody else tries to give you advice. How do you start? I know. Who are you to tell me? Isn't it? This kind of feeling. Can you remember how this is burning us as well? So whenever our ego comes up, that too is burning. This is ignorance, right? Ignorance, avidya, is that feeling, a sense of agency inside of us. Somebody who knows, who everything belongs to, somebody who is here, right? And based on that acting, that coming from the ego, it's a burning. So we are burning, we just have got used to our level of heat. So then there is that base level, and then of course with the trigger, the fire goes a bit higher, right? But we are burning. So the idea of enlightenment or the spiritual journey is a journey towards cooling down, a journey towards chilling, right? Is that nice? Is that what you want? Or you want the excitement of burning still? I find the idea of chilling, cooling down very, very inspiring, pleasing. My mind sort of leaps towards that idea, even though it may be far away, but it's a nice idea. And when monks and nuns, when they become enlightened, this is in the ancient time, at the time of the Buddha, in their inspired utterances, Theragata and Therigatas, they very often say, Siti bhutos minti nibbuto. That means I am cooled here as I am. They use the term cooling. So very nice, right? So very nice. So the idea is that when you cool down, that means your defilements are going down, and then it's not, the external things would still come your way. You will receive the world and its agitations, irritations, attractions, challenges, but you are not affected by them. You can maintain your cool. So this is what an enlightened being is like. And we see like that boy, I don't know whether he's a Buddhist or he's probably not enlightened, but there are people who are naturally a little bit more calmed down, cooled. Some people are wise, some people understand the world, probably even from past lives, right? So they understand it was nobody's real intention to harm, right? In that train incident. It wasn't that the couple really deliberately wanted him to miss his spot and be late for work. It was nobody's fault, really. This is what happens in life. But how often do we get upset at the red traffic light? It just knows how to go red when you're late for a meeting, right? Yeah. And things go wrong. I remember, any time you have to do a presentation or print something out, the printer knows how to stop. Not one printer, all the printers. The computer decides to freeze. All these things. It's as if they have an agenda with you, but they're machines, right? How often do we get angry at these things, right? We shout. You see people trying to throw off their laptop even. So this is the thing. This is just what life is like. Life is like this. Things just go wrong. Like the Murphy's law happens to be true. If something is to go wrong, it will. At the worst possible kind of time, unexpected time. So we need to be able to accept these things with understanding the nature of world. So the reason why I wanted to first bring up this story and this idea is now for today and for some part of tomorrow. We are a large group of people staying together. We are 60 people and not many people would know each other. So we are pretty much a group of strangers maybe, some you might know. And we are using communal spaces, right? We have to be in the meditation hall, dining hall and live in a cottage with 6 other people. So you may hear and see things that are not pleasing to your ears and eyes or other senses, because that's what happens, right? Maybe the doors bang, somebody snores when you're about to fall asleep, somebody coughs when you're about to get peaceful in meditation, somebody drops something. They don't intend to do that, and sometimes people's habits, what to do. Right? So when we live with a group of people, we need to develop a bit of resilience with understanding. Right? So this is important. If we are highly inflammable material, then very hard, tiny little noise, tiny little word, tiny little anything, and our peace is gone. Then we are not going to be able to incline and inspire our mind towards stillness. How can we become still when we are burning? Right? So that is why I wanted to mention even that inclination, that idea of stilling, being chilled is very attractive. It's not only gives us so much peace in our life, we can travel through life with ease if we are able to do this successfully. It also gives a lot of peace to people around us. Because when we are on fire, it lights other fires around us. Right? Have you seen? Your lust creates lust in other people. Your anger creates anger in other people. Your ego brings out ego in other people, right? So then everybody is a light, and this is a problem. So this is why if you ever want to consider even the best gift you can give to your loved ones or even to people around is your own, calm and peace and quiet. And of course, this is not something that you can achieve just like that, right? It's a whole path of practice. But what I wanted to bring out is working towards that is very helpful. Yeah, it is helpful immediately to my own self, to my own well-being, that is for all of us, and for everybody else around us, especially during the retreat as well. The more and more chilled you can be, you are also giving everybody else around us also that opportunity of chilling, calming, and being able to spend a bit of time in inclining the mind to stillness. So that's a nice gift that you give yourself and others. So how does this happen? Is through understanding, right view. So right view is the biggest chilling agent. That's what calms you down. Understanding, right understanding the nature of human beings, the human minds, and how the world, the workings, the laws of the world. Because our understanding, the wrong view tells us the opposite. This is where we get kind of upset when the world doesn't give us what we want. It's just because it's not in alignment. But even though we know this, somehow we tend to believe that, no, I might be able to still do otherwise. So this is where. So more and more we sit back, look, understand, learn from our own experiences how things are. And when it sort of you get to understand, then you are able to slowly accept what is happening right now rather than rejecting. What is more common in your life? Do you tend to accept things or do you tend to reject things easily? It depends on the individuals, but vast majority of the people are into the habit of rejecting, in the sense saying, this could be better, why isn't this good enough, why do I have to do this kind of complaining, criticizing mind, things could be better, or why I have to do this, why is this happening, this kind of thing. Complaining mind is quite common in the world, and it is kind of contagious. It's sort of, you see that in movies, you see that in other people. We also habitually tend to do that. But it is not a good state to be fighting and rejecting. It's much more easier, much more better to accept this idea of contentment. Yeah, contentment is really beautiful. Now I have to say a line of caution here. Here I'm not saying to accept anything, something like abuse, right? If you are in a situation like that, I'm not saying just accept and allow somebody to hurt you or harm you. Not at all. So that's not what I mean here. If that is happening, of course you need to set your boundaries, take the action you need to take. But I'm just telling in general, whether the coffee had enough sugar or not, the food was tasty or not, whether your bed is good enough, whether anything else, all these general things, how we tend to just always reject. So try and see, be wise and understand how things are, and incline your mind to accept things. Embrace life. Make peace. This is this idea Ajahn Brahm always says, make peace, be kind, be gentle. So making peace, letting go, embrace, accept. All 4 words, what you do, you achieve the same thing. Slightly different angles of getting there, but that is what you come to. Whether you let go, make peace, embrace, or accept. So this is very, very calming and gives us some peace of mind. So having said that, and of course this is a long gradual training towards that, but I encourage you to really pay attention to understanding right view. That is all of the Buddha's teachings, but there are main ones and then there are other ones. And as you first of all start learning right view as knowledge, then you sort of start to reflect and it becomes an understanding of yours. That is when you have, aha, I get it. Yeah? Then it becomes a little bit more. And then you sort of see it through your own life. See it through your own experiences. We start to see, yes, what the Buddha said, I can see it happening in my own mind. So the right view starts to get internalized, slowly, slowly. These things really bring a lot of peace to our life when it starts to internalize. And then finally you become right view, that is with the stages of enlightenment. Yeah? So it is really nice, this idea. I'll tell a very small example of how do you internalize right view. This is just one example, just to give a flavor of how to do this. Just understanding of our mind. Do you think our mind states are permanent or impermanent? If I ask, you say impermanent. But when you are really angry at somebody, when you are suffering, right? What is the feeling you have? That it's permanent, right? It's going to be there and you can't wait to get rid of it, and it doesn't go away fast enough, right? It feels like that. Or if you're in pain, if you're sick, it feels like, oh, I'm going to be sick forever, I might die with this. There's a sense, if you ask, your rational mind tells you, no, it's going to end, but the feeling you have is it's going to last a long time. But if you watch your mind and see how easily your mind changes. How about your views and opinions? Are you always right? Do you feel that? Like, yeah, when there is a decision, when you have something to do, you feel like, I'm right, my way is right, and you want to sort of put forth your view. Yeah? We sort of have a feeling that I know what's best. But how often do you catch yourself changing your mind? We don't catch that. That's the problem. We feel at the time when we want to argue with somebody and stand up for my own rights and even go for a fight. Sometimes you see this even at workplaces, at family level, how far people go to prove that they are right. Right? But how often do you actually change your mind? I'll tell you another story from my own life. So this was about 2 years ago when Ajahn Brahmali was going to the United Nations Vesak Day. He was submitting a paper. So he said, Venerable Karunika, would you mind having a look at it and give me some critical feedback? It'll be nice to do a good job. I trust that you might give me some good feedback. So I said, okay, Ajahn. And he said, but please, don't hesitate. Just really go for it. And I want your real critical review of this paper. So because he said that, I also said, okay, fine. So I put my critical glasses on, started reading the paper. My goodness, every sentence I could change. Pretty much I felt like I should write this paper all over again. Right? I could criticize, I could give feedback for almost everything. Then this is Ajahn Brahmali, right? Who wrote this amazing paper, but because he invited me to criticize, I could. Then when I saw all of my corrections, I thought, my goodness, even he's Ajahn Brahmali. We've been friends for a very long time, but we will no longer be friends after this. So I thought, I'm not going to send this. So I kept it aside. 2 days later, I looked at it again. Again, very honestly, looking, reading, and deleting some things. Why was that a problem to me? Actually, this is really good. This is nice. This is perfect. So things changed. Then I was a bit unsure about my opinions and views. So I put it aside for another 2 days. Look at it again. Changed again. Then actually my mind went quiet and I thought, wow, I can't trust my views and opinions. They were right at the time, but they keep changing. Yeah, so it feels like it's really hard. So of course we have to have some basic things, but not to tenaciously hold on to these things, right? They change, our mind change. So I actually asked for a Zoom meeting and instead I just explained a few things because if he got upset I could actually talk. And I also told him what happened. I said, you are welcome to take whichever version you like, which Monday or Wednesday or Friday version of my review, whatever is helpful you take, the rest leave, because I don't trust myself or the feedback, but they are possible feedback. So anyway, this is just to show, isn't that the case with your mind? How many times have you changed a text message that you wrote emotionally charged, that you didn't send, or an email? When you first you got really upset and you wrote something, but you didn't send it. 2 hours later, you looked at it, you rewrote it, didn't you? So how much the mind changed. So then you realize this idea of the transient nature, in unsubstantial nature of mind, which we take for granted as so solid, so real, my mind, I know. All that is just constantly changing. We are changing, our minds are so changing. It's unsubstantial, impermanent, constantly changing. So when you start to actually see this in your life, things change. Right? Things really start to change. This is slowly internalizing. This is still not the very big ways of internalizing. This is just day to day, but that's still helpful. Now every time, actually this year too, he went to United Nations Vesak only 2 weeks ago. When he was writing this last paper too, he sent it to me. He said, don't worry about upsetting me. You do your review. So I did it differently this time. I looked at the big picture and gave few points only. I didn't do the same because something has changed in the way that I review some work. This happens to us. So it is really helpful even at a really normal level, but much more when we have had good meditation, deep meditation, and when we reflect back and start to see our own mind, it's working, things in the world, even little, the nature, you understand so many things, insights starts to come. So small insights, also internalizing right view. Then big insights come. Or if it is an insight, it's irreversible. You won't go back there again. You won't do the same thing in the same way again, because you have truly seen with clarity the uselessness or the true nature of the thing. So this is when the right view actually gets internalized, and it brings peace with it, because you are at ease. When your way of thinking and behaving is in alignment with the world, the way the world is, it brings peace. What takes away our peace is when we fight against the natural laws, natural ways of behaviors of human beings. Human beings are very complicated. We have defilements, we have different upbringings, we have different world views. And we can't say my world view is right, yours is wrong. They're just different ones, right? There are many ways of operating, many ways of doing things. So all of this is about bringing peace to our life with right understanding about what life is about. So this is the spiritual journey, is a journey towards wisdom. It is right view is the seed, and wisdom is what really cools down, brings peace. That extinguishment happens. Quite nice, right? The idea is quite nice. So this gives a very good clarity what this enlightenment is all about, where we are heading, if that is where you want to head. So this is just an overview of what and how to incline our mind. And I actually want to read, because most of us, we do know enough Dhamma. Even if you think you are still new to Buddhism, you still already know enough. What we need in order to sit and meditate is not a lot of instructions. Just what I told you last night, just the idea of becoming alert and relaxing and being with the body is enough actually. The meditation then starts to grow. What we need is more a bit of inspiration. So when our mind is inspired, then it naturally goes that way. So in a way of inspiration, I would like to take up one or two verses. The verses of the Buddha I really appreciate, and also the Buddha used a lot of verses himself because it is easy to remember, and the way it is given is somehow inspiring. Anyway, see whether you can get inspired. If not, we can try something else. So here, this one is from Dhammapada 348. It says, "Let go what has gone before. Let go that which comes after. Let go thy hold on the middle as well, and get beyond all existence. Thus, with a mind released in every way, thou come never to birth and decay." So a beautiful verse to remember as we sit to meditate. Yeah, let go what has gone before. So the past, we can't change what has happened. The only thing that we can do if we do think about the past is to learn from any mistakes or successes. Apart from that, there is not much. But during meditation, that is not the time to do that. Meditation, we can just leave that past. There's no point in indulging in it. I use the word indulgence because that is an indulgence, which is why you go there. Even if it is thinking about problems and difficulties. Why you incline? Because there is a certain indulgence in doing that. Let go that which comes after. That is about the future. Future is uncertain, right? We don't know. And like Ajahn Brahm says, whatever you think it's going to be, you can be sure it's going to be something else. This is the case. Slightly, at least, it's different. So it's a waste of time to think about the future too much. I mean, we have general plans, general ideas, But no need to, plan, get upset, worry, all that. We can leave that aside, especially when it is time to meditate. But also, this third one, let go thy hold on the middle as well. And that is not to hold on to the present so tightly. So this is that idea of let go, relax, be gentle, right? And not holding on to your meditation object also in a way that is really tight. Very gentle. That is why we took time last night during the guided meditation to first be with the body, right? And allow the mind to rest, become still, wake up. And as the mindfulness comes in, then you can naturally feel the breath. So rather than you go and grab the breath, allow the breath to come to you, right? So this is where, then you're not really holding it. Breath is there with you effortlessly. This is the right way to watch the breath, or any meditation object for that matter. So this is that idea. And so I will also read another one that is similar but a bit longer. This is Baddekaratha Sutta. This is the Majjhima Nikaya Middle and Discourses 131. There are many different ways that people translate the topic, the word Baddekaratha. My favorite translation comes from a monk called Katukurunde Jnanananda, who wrote a book. If you want, you can look up a very nice book, little booklet actually, called Ideal Lover of Solitude. I kind of like this. So this is how one would spend if you love solitude, if you love seclusion. So this is what should be done. So it goes like this. Let one not trace back the past, or yearn for the future yet to come. That which is past is left behind. Unattained is the yet to come. But that which is present, he discerns with insight as and when it comes. The immovable, the non-irritable, in that state should the wise one grow. Today itself should one bestir. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? For no bargain can we strike with death, who has his mighty hosts. But one who dwells thus ardently, by day, by night, untiringly, him the tranquil sage has called the ideal lover of solitude. So I should say him, her, or they are the tranquil sage has called the ideal lover of solitude. So apart from not holding on to past and future and also to the present, it also gives that idea a little bit of a motivation, right? A little bit of motivation about the idea of death. Is anybody uncomfortable of the idea of death? Is it okay for me to mention about death? You can let me know, because I don't want to say something that makes you uncomfortable. But the idea of death, the onset of death, that death could happen any time, is nothing to really fear about. Yeah, it is not to fear about, but rather when we remember that death could happen any time. The Buddha actually highly recommend, it is called Maranasati in Pali, the benefits of it, and recommended us to do it again and again, very often. And the idea is, when you remember that you might die anytime, your priorities in life changes. So this is really helpful to us, right? Because otherwise we put off what is important in life until later. And that might not happen, and death might come before. And when death knocks on your door, can you say, please wait, give me 5 minutes to sort out my life? We can't do that, right? No such bargain. This is why Buddha says exactly like there's no bargain with death when it comes, and we don't know when, right? You could be the healthiest person, but you could just miss a step, fall down, hit your head and die. This can happen, right? So the most unexpected people die at the most unexpected time. So the idea is, when we have that idea in the back of our mind, we tend to live our life well. We tend to treat other people kindly. Can you afford to die with an irritated, agitated, angry mind? A mind full of lust and desire? We can't, right? We know where it's going to take us. So this is why maybe you heard a sound, somebody banged the door, you got irritated. Fine, you can't help but get irritated a bit. But don't keep it for long. You can let it go, because next moment you might fall down and die with that irritated mind, because this is true. Especially this is important when you're driving, when you're on the traffic. Very many people get so upset with other people breaking traffic laws, and you might come with an accident while you are so angry, so dangerous. So the idea of remembering this is actually very beneficial to us. So that is why also it motivates us to do what is more important in life, and that is building up this right view, inclining to peace, inclining to stillness, and doing this work which is our primary work. Everything else we do in life is to maintain this body. This is why I mentioned yesterday, know your needs and wants, right? Your needs and wants. So the work you need to do, everything else you need to do in this human life is to obtain your needs, to get, pay your mortgage, get some food, medicine, clothing, things like that. But what is your main job? Have you ever asked, why am I born? What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose? Why am I living? Yeah. So what is success in life? So you have to ask these questions. It's another Dhamma talk altogether, which I'm not going to say right now. But I'm only going to let you know, don't do that now. Do that when you go home, when you have plenty of time to think about these things. Really reflect on this and see what are my priorities. I mean, most people say what they want in life is peace and happiness. Fair enough, right? And all of these things that we do in our life is to get that peace and happiness. But don't be foolish about this, because sometimes in our pursuit of happiness, we only reap suffering and weariness. Notice that, and then don't head that way. Because there is peace and happiness to be had when we stop, when we sit, when we are able to be contented, we're able to accept things for a little while and stay. Peace and happiness is yours, free of charge, no need to spend anything, right? Is that true? Yeah. So this is why. So that is what the Buddha is reminding us here. So don't waste your life thinking about the past problems and what happened, indulgences. Don't worry, have anxiety and all those things about the future, which is uncertain. Before that future arrives, many things could change. And also not to really hold on to the present in a way of craving and desire and in the wrong way, because then also you can't go deep. So this is a very simple meditation instruction or inspiration for how to meditate, how to sit. So with that, I am just going to end. But if anybody has a question or two, I'm happy to ask. If you need any instructions, any clarifications, you are welcome to ask. Anybody? If not, you can also write your questions, and this evening we can have some entertainment. No, question and answer, sorry. All right, so I stopped a little early, but enjoy your time, and that's the most important thing. Rest enjoy, go for nice walks. It's such a nice day, such a nice place. So make the best use of this opportunity. Yeah, go and sit on a rock under a tree, lie down and watch the stars at night. All these little things, being playful, being creative, give yourself a break. Get out of your normal way of doing things, and that sort of wakes you up, gives you a boost of energy. Okay, so I wish you all the best for the rest of the morning, and we will be meeting again at some point. Okay.